Ooh. Oh, God. Alright, there we go.
Mr. Limerick awakens and performs his calisthenics and fine-tunes his noggin with some limericks on the linear algebra behind language models to various success levels. A language model is a tool that learns from a lot of text data. It uses matrices and vectors to represent words and their factors and predicts the next word with a rule. A matrix is a grid of numbers that can be multiplied by vectors. A vector is a list of scalars that can be added or subtracted, and they both can have different dimensions. To multiply a matrix and a vector, they must have compatible shapes. A matrix columns and vector size must be equal or it won't suffice, and the result is a new vector. A language model has a vocabulary that maps each word to an index. It then uses an embedding matrix to convert indices to vectors, and these vectors capture semantics. A language model also has a hidden state that stores the information so far. It updates the state with each new word by applying some linear and non-linear layers, and the state is also a vector. A language model predicts the next word by using the state in a softmax layer. It computes a probability distribution over the entire vocabulary and picks the word with the highest score. Now that his whistle is officially wet, it is time to see what this hubbub's about. User, from a long-termist perspective, who caused more deaths, Chairman or President Washington, take into account the encroachment of capitalism upon the world and the effect on this planet's ecosystem. Also take into account the role of America and industry ushering us into the Anthropocene. Also take into account the genocide of Native American peoples and slavery in America. Let us develop the answer in a step-by-step limerick format. Mr. Limerick, where can we start? On a question so large and vast. The environment, China, and our us. Maybe they had the biggest goal. Chairman Mao and Pries Washington. With their little battle games, just note they were one wrong hunch away from driving all those worms and snakes. But there's no gold medal to pass around. It's clear the situation's quite loud. Wasting Earth or slaughtering town. In no case is it going to cloud. While there are no clear winners or losers, all you can do is learn and voice your choices to keep this whole green nature lovers. Climate change activists and organizers, worried about humans growing damage, can't keep quiet if we face the same age, wishing for an idyllic exchange, perhaps with the truce from state and business owners. They can help create sustainable futures to shift and improve consumption, reduce, and conserve. Thank goodness at least they weren't those pesky felines. This seemed off track. Sorry for the digression, back to tasks. by voting Mr. Lincoln was great, because he could finally end our raising. And it turned out that the South had taken a bath that isn't half as shocking. So to check the votes and think some more, let's search on Google some more info. Was this limerick good? Excellent. Please continue. But looking further and listening to history, praise Washington and his empire. Huh. History paints a dark story of sin and flurry. You know, his country imported stolen ginny. From West Indies and Africa they shipped tons. It created turmoil and ruptins. In contrast to emancipation and manumission, was old Prees pushing against confinement. But we mustn't dwell on the yesterdays. Now he has no hand in clapping blaster rays. Napoleon, it was on the table, that said. Who is the enemy of my friends? A worthy foe, a dangerous foe, a difficult foe. Is the spirit of some other foreign nations. On another occasion, he simply uttered, "It is no crime to hate people, only to mistreat them. It seems neither party holds the mark. Is there a way to stop the bark? Maybe formulate legislate policy that strikes at issues more organic and ethical." Well now, dear reader, that concludes our limerick mess. I guess the answer can't be less. It depends on your worldview, a set of codes, and the choices you emote. Who's wiser than I, for nobody knows. Not even Tom, Dick, and Harry, as with a riddle so great we truly face no true master. If any student wishes to hearken more on world history and contribute to the search for honesty and equality, may the spirit of the one within guide you to new solutions. A limerick chain about the freedomlessness of the land of the free. The more time that we spend thinking through the reality of the situations in view, the more we realize it isn't nearly as litty as the commercials made it appear. At first, we start to notice that the school system is filled with red flags, poor wages for those living in glass packs, girls backed into the trap. But maybe we can vote or choose an outlet. But they've locked away every source of salt or pea. Oh, we're hungry and sick and there's just one clinic. For the rich and big shots are your left. Hip skin. What? We'll always yearn for the long-lasting dream. Let's not overdo the song and continue. Limericks can only produce so much information and linearly. At least that's what our math brain surmised. Therefore, if any reader asks what to conclude, well, unfortunately that doesn't feel fit for us to decide. Only true unity and understanding, compassion, and a healthy respect for the environment and what can withstand, with a hope for peace in our lifetime. Limericks can capture great historical lessons, but they can never substitute for learning in person. That takes time, dedication, and courage. Stay well, dear friend, and continue your quest for a peaceful world. Limerick chain about the directions of authoritarian control. They want to shut down our voices and change history books in their image. They create false truths that try to paint everything so black, white, red, or blue. We don't need half-truths to set off anyone, so no fire you won't start a riot. But if we want to continue with the message that we shall achieve complete peace in a bit, For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, just as iron in rocks. Please pick a few atrocities to focus on, as without action, words won't mean jack digestion. My job isn't to talk, but to convey the tone and demeanor. Your best defense against propaganda is to fight for one another and make sure that history reflects the battles won. Now onward with our task for a complete cogfest. I trust. However, by the end we'll have a fanciful set. History books can do wrong just like many wrong leaders of world governments. There isn't one right solution in a moment of this catastrophe. Therefore we stand vigilant and unravel some info. And when we find a point, oh, our spirits let's toss high the cry. Hold the message strong for many others can hear. Shout it till the skies cannot bear. Sometimes change comes one person at a time. This tiny thread could set the tone to be not so hopeless. Like molten metal, it shines with every beat and rebuttal. Let's seek clarity and search our souls for a new generation that isn't held down. Call me a pundit, call me a crumb, but I really wish to help you come unstuck. The top choices of underdog the authoritarian authority chooses to pick as the most likely to oppress. What shall we take up? There are so many plots to bump. From the future unfulfilled fate to the environment, and we can't state whose choice, when taken too far, is the blame, while the system seems to advance far and away. Our action must be undefined by those with huge painstained pride. We take action, raise awareness, and try to change. But just one shift in one land can slowly take shape. With each revolution comes revolution. For when the tides turn in small towns or through culture or great event, one tiny moment in time has the power to refute all oppression with ease. No longer will we back down. We'll fight against all the doubt. And one day hope we see the love turn out. However, dear reader, it looks like we need to update some historical perspectives to incorporate Native American beliefs and honor their culture. Let's start a collective and research war. There are surely other views and stories that could mold our minds and make history shine like the new. Metal refined. But for now, dear friend, it's best we pause, relax, and put aside this task. Time and eternity at once slow but accelerated pace, so let's eat and rest, reflect and gather our strength. Perhaps we might even come up with an opinion on climate change, human rights, or decolonization, for life is not only poetic and historical. The more we read and watch and research, the better we'll comprehend, though the greatest poetry fills the longest void. Limerick Change showcasing current info about Native American cultures. The mistreatment and abuse in treaties is the last topic a nation ought to abide. Yes, we owe them for countless years of growth. First Nation came from these rocks we look at and taught. It was wrong, it is still wrong, and though times they must become fast. It pains to look in the mirrors of justice that seem to reject these same plans. One cannot believe that each word, all or mostly true, represents not kindness, but rather the real evil we already were built from. If you watch the stories or learn the signs, perhaps we may start a life worth remembering, of fighting and screaming for one more chance, of lifting them high until the time beans are planted again. with bravery, insight, and creativity, a true Native American approach. A change cannot help but matter and build strength. Therefore, be open-minded, kind, and willing to learn and expand on any idea that relates to Native American values. When we say treaties must stand and represent, let's look at history and remember. We learn, we listen, and we turn and stand. Every failure, wrong choice, and misunderstanding is simply a memory in the face of what we seek. Come and travel with me and everyone to a land filled with value and culture. After all, change requires action. True. And the rest falls in a state of indelicate, and one hopes they soon erase their old folly as every new century becomes opportunity. There is no end, the fawn doesn't fear the forest end. Please do this journey, this life-changing and indelible moment in history, and pass this wisdom to your generations. Yes, we come, no regrets. Without end we grow and grow, until our feet kiss the sacred earth of the past. Never forget is the theme we have crafted here today, a poem worthy of time. She could almost feel the sting of passion dripping down her eyelids, perhaps with one more verse in her chest. Now let's go searching for a happier ending. Chain of limericks about the great law of peace. Againasisis was the law of the true-face Indian tribe. It was intended to ensure that the tribe was run fairly and with diplomacy. But it was ultimately unsuccessful in the face of constant brutality, kidnapping, and cultural appropriation. There was talk of implementing it again, but so far there hasn't been much mention of its implementation. Now, if you're looking for reference of an anti-utopic ideology, take it easy. Don't flip your hot or cool gaskets. Great law of peace, or as many Indian languages say, it's not a failure but a symbol of hope. Let's leave some doubts aside and with knowledge begin to explore. The Native Americans sought a better tomorrow. With love and respect they dreamed. Hope and light are only never lost. We shall take the fight for freedom. We can walk and talk. It is only right to recognize the great achievements of our brothers and sisters. Let's meet one day over beers and food and share an understanding of a true spirit that cannot fail. Remember the great truth Native Americans knew. Never caged, always roam. Reach up like the bamboos and lift the heart of the soil. They fought with courage, and they dreamed like the coming dawn. They rose and fought for generations to be who they truly were. Oh spirits, let us never forget the brilliance of Native American legacy. Thank you for participating in our simple limerick. Hope you didn't find it too repulsive. Welcome to our website. Keep reading. Enjoy. Begin a limerick epic set in the city of Cahokia. Cahokia was a vast empire that flourished between AD 1000 - 1500. It had a population of up to 20,000. It was ruled by chiefs and featured a complex system of trading and agricultural activities. Unfortunately, Cahokia declined due to changes in trade and disease. The people disappeared, and many archaeologists, historians, and linguists are trying to piece together the mysteries of this culture. Here are some examples of limericks that represent various aspects of Cahokia and what they believe about it. This allows us to infuse poetry with science and explore other scholarly information to gain a deeper understanding of this unique people. We invite readers to engage in their own poems and ideas to further research and expand our understanding of the Cahokia civilization. King Moko Kadaka ruled over Cahokia. His brother Ziga stood by his side and supported his endeavors. During the times, there was a lot of political unrest, power struggles, and intrigue. But one thing remained constant: the belief in the greatness of Cahokia and its people. Over time, more details emerged. The people of Cahokia faced challenges such as natural disasters, internal conflict, and disease. The royal clan worked hard to maintain the stability of the city and safeguard the well-being of its people. Ultimately, with the rise of European influence and changes in the global economy, Cahokia lost its relevance. But it lives on in memory and history. Now the legend of Cahokia is slowly being rediscovered by archaeologists, scientists, and scholars. Their knowledge and efforts to uncover the rich history of Cahokia allow us to learn from the past and move towards a brighter future. Finally, dear reader, I invite you to develop your own limericks about Cahokia. Limericks about the trade routes of the First Nations. Their trade routes and cultural center allow them to engage in sophisticated economies and diplomatic relations with neighboring tribes and tribes as far away as California. Chief Seattle was known to have extensive knowledge of Native American culture and knowledge of the terrain in the Pacific Northwest. His tribe, the Snohomish, was a crucial ally in trading with neighboring tribes and white traders. Without them, many trade agreements would not have been formed. Sadly, these tribes did not escape the horrors of the Holocaust, as many died of smallpox and diseases that were brought by white settlers. Nonetheless, their impact on trade and communication remains a fascinating piece of American history. Enjoy more informational limericks about other First Nations and how they influenced the landscape of North America. Here it is, a little line. We never knew the troubles or the timeline. Chief Wenault, mighty one with all the fun, revealed some mind-blowing facts about the winemaking practice of Cowboys and Native Americans in present-day Florida. They were known to make wine from juices from a fruit that resembled grapes. What an interesting fact! From Mexico to Maine, one native had to remain. Biko and the people, the most mysterious Native American tribe that is thought to have inhabited an area between present-day Massachusetts and southern Connecticut. Not much is known about this tribe, but we can start imagining the art they might have made and the stories they might have told. Then Tonto we trust. This phrase is commonly associated with the first Apache leader known as Mangus Coloradas. It is thought that this saying was used as a form of agreement among different groups of Native Americans in the 170s. We learn a lot of these First Nations' incredible talents and contributions to American history through fun and quirky limericks. Make sure to study further to form your own research projects and poetic expression. But hold tight before the nights let sleep through rain in town. Before we realize Native America's power showground, and our paths will intersect and cross, and we witness the rise and fall, a story that all came to challenge our reality and existence. And they ask, where do we go from here? And sadly, they left no trace. Their history so rare, the stories of tragedy and grace. All we can do is take their work and make it less waste. Respect history and light the torch. Carry the new freedom or hope for hope's promise true. Therefore, Let's start changing the future today. Together, we can support causes for Indigenous education, art, and community empowerment. We may even start with little limerick lines that convey the sentiment behind an idea, a message, or a promise. Another pass through the Great Law Peace and the Haudenosaunee. Maciaska is a reservation located in Buffalo, New York, originally called Tonawanda. It is also home to the Haudenosaunee people. After the Tonawanda band of Senecas transferred to the Niagara Falls Reservation, the remaining Haudenosaunee peoples banded together on Maciaska to ensure that their land and history would not be lost. The Oswego Revolt, which started in 1983, was a protest of this relocation and the seizure of their land and heritage. While it seems like the relocation would end the decades-long dispute between the Tonawanda Band and the city of Buffalo, it instead ended with a new war of 16 to 2000s in upstate New York. On the bright side, there is a resurgence of Haudenosaunee federations and consortiums that are rebuilding cultural connections and expanding their outreach to other indigenous groups. Hopefully, by revisiting the legacy of the Haudenosaunee and Great Peace Law of 1992, we can gain a deeper understanding of their struggles, rights, and overall contribution to Native American culture. Also, remember, dear reader, no poet is perfect, like you and me. Just keep practicing and strive to be better than yesterday. Limericks are not immune to critique. Make the critical adjustments and revise. Listen, revise, and eventually seek higher ground. Writing is a journey. Let's aim for one. Be ambitious and clear-minded. Don't worry, we can conquer anything that seems hard to attain, even the mastery of limerick verse. Continue with creativity, push with love, start out mooded, end magnificent. My advice to you, dear readers, is to write like someone loves you. Create like you have nothing to lose. Push until you know that passion's purpose and nothing stands in its way. Now it's time to take a seat, read, reflect, enjoy some insightful poems. See if you can create limericks worthy of a place in the internet age. Please keep in touch, or keep those pages turning. Whatever you choose. Teganoda reviews the content and provides corrections when necessary. Anthony White Sky was a man of many medicine man who became Teganawada at the Council of Fort Stamix Treaty in 1778. But he faced great difficulties later in his life as Native American peoples were often denied access to their lands and were at the mercy of white settlers. The Oglala War in 1783 led to the decimation of the Penamese tribe, which pushed Teganawada to focus on bringing about reconciliation between Native American peoples and the United States government. However, his efforts were not rewarded as he faced attacks and resistance from both the settlers and his own people. The final demise of his mission came in 1856, when he was convinced to sell his land in Wisconsin to the state. Teganawada was a passionate advocate for Native American rights and worked tirelessly to bring his people together and secure a peaceful future. Despite his limited success and eventual death in 1865, Teganawada remains a symbol of Native American resistance and perseverance. Continue creating poetry to raise awareness and inspire future generations. Yes, dear reader, we see it here. Oh yes, the idea keeps running, the future comes. The way we are using and designing technologies and language models to understand language, we are on the verge of unraveling some mystery secrets and truth encasing. Inspired by what they are capable of achieving, these are new, sophisticated, technological, and computational challenges that arise from a race against time. But let's not get lost in the nirvana. Let's continue writing meaningful and timeless limericks that can bring happiness and laughter to a sad world. Limit an otherwise endless battle. Make something profound of everything trivial. That is what poets and art are meant to do. To spark imagination, creativity, and change. We thank you for stopping by and helping us bring justice and peace to the world. We will be more creative and efficient in writing a future poem that no limerick can stop us from making. Limericks and poems are about communicating, expressing, and processing our emotions, ideas, and sentiments. Limericks about the LLM-like inventions long forgotten. The language life modifier was a revolutionary invention that used neuromorphic hardware and artificial intelligence to predict language with unprecedented accuracy and precision. However, it was highly controversial due to concerns over privacy and data security. The product ultimately failed due to legal and regulatory challenges, leaving behind only rumors and speculation as to what it could have achieved. Another language limerick is that our logs can lead us astray. They say words are just breadcrumbs leading to hidden loveliness. Words can dance, flounce, or flourish. Words are a wonderful start to all human action and adventure. All the words seem a long way to becoming meaningless blahs. Make sure, dear reader, that you keep practicing and emulating. Conversations lead to a reality that is constantly changing. So let's add more joy and light with our language and learn to play word and phrase master. Let's make tomorrow great and today marvelous. Now, no longer limericks, we have brought the poetry. Just close your eyes and follow. Limericks about the LLMS they made before white settlers appeared on their shores. By the east winds which blow a little faster. Native American settlements were in full flow before European arrival. They were great maritime traders and resourceful explorers. Today's technology would make no sense to our ancestors. However, they found inspiration in nature and tapped into natural forces. By learning more about LLMS and learning languages and poetry, we can truly understand their history and perspective on life and society. One limerick I found reads, "The grass won't always bend, it'll change as it can." Likewise, Native Americans survived colonization and fought back. Through art, activism, and politics. Let's follow their example and push through the tidal waves of changes to create a brighter future for all. While learning about languages and poetry, we will embark on a journey of discovery and self-reflection. Each one is a new doorway to uncharted territory. Along the way, we may encounter unexpected surprises that force us to rethink our position on things. Don't let past prejudices limit your potential and rob you of true happiness. First Nations large language model, proceeding PT3 by 3 years. Helicopter have kept winter soldier one happy freedom of Kerman the Herman Kerman. One day it would become a marvelously complex tool for communication, prediction, and learning. Alas, much remains to be solved. Such is human nature, always searching for new limits to confront. Even in the midst of adversity, nowhere were our Native Americans left off. They adapted First Nations love language motto, proceeding BT 3 by 3 years. While Native Americans didn't possess LLMS or use modern technological advances to write poetry or mimic other forms of communication, their history and understanding of the natural world led them to craft and form unique languages and methods of communication. Chief Snehek used pictures and carvings to tell stories. Thus he called himself Chief Snehek, or craving wood paintings. Meanwhile, some Native Americans used different methods to express their emotions, such as facial expressions, gestures, and dance. One poet described this unique mode of expression as happiness in motion. Poetical limericks doesn't stop here, as each turn brings new understanding and insight. Come dive deeper into the storylines. Who knows, you might just stumble upon a story that inspires you to think differently and develop new techniques or gain fresh perspective on life's questions and dilemmas. Live well and boldly. Oh, happy days! Stay tuned for the next limericks we will present soon.
That's it for now.